Hello, there we go. Okay, that's working. G'day guys. It's Friday. It's actually quite warm in Brisbane. Yeah, it's a really good day. Pretty tired at the moment, but yeah, we are definitely getting stuck into it. So I'm just going to turn that down a bit, and we're going to be doing some. So today at work, I've been troubleshooting an issue, and I kind of actually want to go back and suss out the module itself. But what the issue is that if I'm using Custo to convert my JSON serialized objects using update AI tracelog in Azure Log Analytics, it doesn't work. It actually, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So what we're going to be doing today is I've been sussing out some bits and pieces, which is very interesting with how Custo actually deserializes JSON within Log Analytics. A couple of things that PowerShell does that it doesn't like. So we're going to, I've fixed them already, but one of the things we're going to be looking at is actually testing its limits. So I'm going to be basically just messing around in PowerShell, looking at all different things in terms of trying to gauge an understanding of why it's doing doing what it's doing. So once we get a bit more info, we can then kind of see if we can work around the problem, or worst comes to worst, if we need to actually switch the module and we have to write our own, that's fine. It's just whatever needs to be done. So let's get stuck into it. So alrighty. So what we're going to do, ooh, is my monitor playing funny buggers? It was. Sorry, okay, so, alright, okay, let's get stuck into this. So I've got my portal open, just making sure that I'm not having any funny business happening. Alright, sweet, let's get stuck into it. So if I've already put the application instrumentation, I've already put the instrumentation key as a variable, so I should just be able to start. I just need to bring this into memory. Why is this not launching? It's going to run my unit tests. That's always a good start anyway. Okay, well we got all our unit tests, so that's fine. There we go. Okay, detail. So I'm just going to go test. I'm going to put today's date in, so I'm actually just makes it a little easier to find. We are going to pass the custom object, but first things first, we're going to just check to make sure that we are getting what we should be getting. So I think OBS is playing up today's. After that power cut, it's had some issues, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, so let's go back to log analytics. I need custom. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to go type information. Custom shell. Resource name. I'm just going to go test. 6.19 doesn't really matter. That should be fine. It should be fine. Okay, cool. So that's logging now. So we've got an initial log. So one of the things we can do with Custo is we can actually serialize some things. So let's just have a quick look at the custom events. So in Custo, let's just set a custom time range. Yep. Just gonna fetch all my log events. Okay, so we've got some log events. And you can see here we've got some events being logged. So what we can do now, custom dimensions. Let's just go event type is equal information limit 50. Actually, no, we want debug. So if it's okay, there's nothing there. Let's have a look in here. Okay, so what we're looking for now is anything with a custom object. So I'm going to go where custom dimensions dot custom underscore object is not. No, let's try that. See if this works. Oh, let's just have a quick squeeze. Can't remember the condition for not null. Usually it's use operators. Yep. Where's most of cheat sheets? This is really good. You got a cheat sheet for SQL, which is really quite handy. I'm looking for operators. Okay, it's not equals. Is there a not? Is it null? Is there a null? Just use this empty. Let's just try this empty. So this empty. Is that okay, is empty value. Okay, yep. So what we can do here is that. Let's see if we can get something. Payday. So all this data that we've just synced, okay, it's not empty, so that's what we need. Okay, so we got one here. Hello world, this is me. So we've got custom object. So you can see here, this is basically a full-blown custom object. It actually contains a lot of it's quite a large object, and you can see here how it's actually been serialized there's no issues. So, sorry, it's been deserialized. So if I can actually in my query, I can actually go expand. Let's just call it let's expand, extend, and then we can go. Let's just call it custom equals pass. Ooh, we can take XML. Sorry, I was just seeing pass XML. It makes me wonder whether I just serialize it as XML. But anyway, so we go pass JSON, and then we go, then we actually need to go to string, because it's not a string apparently. Custom dimensions dot custom object, like so. Let's run this. And now we actually get a custom object. So you can see here it's actually deserialized it. We can actually search of those, or we can search if we can still search, but we have to actually expand. We have to pass the JSON for each property that we want to expand. We want to search. So having an extend, it just means that we're creating a custom attribute or a custom column to our response. So as you can see, it's all there, and that's completely fine. But what the problem is that basically when you have issues with, oh damn it, there we go, sorry. If you have issues with for some reason it just doesn't pass it fully in, I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna just start creating insanely large objects of just locked types. So you know, like for example, child item, we'll use child item, we'll use get processes, things like that, and we'll see what is going to happen with it. So first things first, let's do so it's quite a lengthy serialization process, which is fine, like there's no issue with that. So that's a very long serialization process. That's doing a depth of 3, which we don't need, we only need a depth of 2. I don't really need to go any deeper than 2. So if we just go depth 2, it should be a bit quicker. So my idea is to see what causes it to break. This is quite a large, so this is a collection. So I'm going to do a single item, I'm going to do multiple, so we're going to do 2, 3, 4, and we'll just keep adding and see what happens. So what we can do here is let's just go custom object, and then we're going to go processes, and then we're going to select first one. See what happens with that one. Then we're going to say select first 2, select first 3, select first 4, select first 5. We'll see what happens with that. So what kind of type is it? I'm just going to say test last hour. Actually I'm going to say today. Just say last 3 days, that's fine. Okay, so nothing's come in yet. That's fine, no, it'll come through. Let me see if actually... Well, the first one won't come in because it doesn't actually have an object. So you can see... so this is on the 5th, which was yesterday. So I was logging, yeah, I was doing tests yesterday. So... if I run that, that'll keep it nice and lean. So I'm thinking... it's going to be very interesting to see why it's doing what it's doing. I'm not entirely sure how it's handling it. So that's why I'm just kind of going to explore to see what happens if I serialize this XML versus JSON. testing if that actually is a better way to serialize. Yeah, we'll see what happens. If there's some sort of limitations. I don't think there's a limitation. I think there's some sort of formatting issue. So what happens is it doesn't really like. So I'll show you something. So if we go in your query, let's just quickly do something here. So we can just go pass underscore JSON. And we can just go hello world. Pass JSON actually. Just need to kind of use that as a like so. So. Let's go limit 50 pass JSON. Well, that works. Query could not be passed JSON at line 3.2. So that doesn't work. Interestingly enough, let's try something. So we're going to write some JSON here. We're going to write a JSON string. I actually think it's how it's handling the string. That should be fine. Oh wait, no it's not. I'm just missing a curly brace. Query could not be passed at pass JSON. That's legitimate, isn't it? Let's see if I can convert from JSON. Yeah, that serializes. Oh, sorry, that deserializes. That's completely fine. I find it interesting how it's still having an issue. It's weird. So, let's have a look at what we got now, see if we got anything. Here we go. Alright, so, let's just filter by UTC. So, this is our first one. So, customer dimensions. You can see that's a serialized object. That's just a standard process object. That's completely fine. That's completely fine. So 2 of them is fine. 3 of them. It breaks at 4. That's very interesting. What did it break on system? So I'm not using any sort of threading at the here with the application, so it's just submitting it. I'm just wondering how the request is being sent and if that's actually breaking it. Because I don't, from what I'm seeing, I don't think. So let's have a look at the amount of characters for the first 3. Let's compress, and then we'll go depth 2. We'll just measure objects. So it's 4,704. That breaks. And this is the interesting thing. So if we head back into here, I'm going to grab old mate here. And let's not, we don't need to limit. Let's go project, custom, we'll just go project custom, see. you can see 1, 2. Wait, did that serialize all of them? I don't think that's serialized. No, that's not serialized. That's not serialized. That's serialized. Oh, sorry, deserialized. They're deserialized. Yep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try something. Let's use 3. We know 3 is the golden one. Let's do something. Let's try this. So we said select first 3. Let's select the last 3. I'm also interested to see if it's something to do with how it's being logged. I think might need to go to Fiddler soon. The second thing I'm going to do is start having a look at this guy's module. Where is it? 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 Function create event. Trying to figure out where that module name is. Application capture. Okay. I want to have a look at his code.
Y'all see me flying, never drop down, smoking high, I am not round, I'm not round, no denying what I got now.
When you feel the world is over, when you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me.
I don't think he actually has any Git listed on it. So if we rerun all right here, now we should see some more. Yep, perfect. So just want to quickly have a quick squiz of what we have. It's the last 3, yep. Let's just say oh, I don't get that. That's fine. I'm still loading it. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got. Let me get rid of that. All I want to do is just have a look at them. So these are the last 3 here. So you can see this is the last 3. And it did not serialize it. correctly. Again, it didn't serialize it correctly. Let's try first three. It's very interesting. So we know the last three fails. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to do a last two. I want to see if it's to do with a specific object. So what I'm going to then do is, if the last two work, then I'm just going to pass the third last one and see if there's something wrong with that. And then if there's something wrong with the object, then I can start to find out. Troubleshooting is a pain, but it's definitely worth it in the end. So we've got last three, we're waiting on the last two. Okay, so we said first three. Okay, so that's worked. That's serialized correctly. So, what I might quickly check is in terms of length. So that's 17,000. Let's say interesting. It could be a length limitation. But before we do that, what we can check which one of the offending that's 2,000. Okay, that's fine. Last three, select first two. That's 3,000. 14,000. So let's then say select the last one. How can that be even more? It's because it's serializing it differently. This is a pain in the backside. Well, what we can do is just have a quick squiz at old mate again. So we said last two. Last two doesn't work. That's interesting. Okay. Did we do last one? Okay, let's try last one. Okay. Let's suss out the last one. So, if we go update trace logs, processes select the last one. Let's see what happens there. So I have a sneaky suspicion that it's not playing ball. It's definitely one of those fire and forget waiting game ones. So we said last two. If this fails, I'm going to then take the JSON and then try and custom pass it. And then once we can figure out roughly where it is, we'll start messing around with it. We said last one, did we? Yes. Was it last one? Yep, selecting process last one. So that's failed. Okay, so that's failed. That's good. So what we need to ask now is why it's failed. So what we can do in here is I want to have a look at this. This is insane. This is off the charts insane. Do I actually have to explicitly say one?
Waiting for the answers to the universe. Waiting for someone to wake me up. Tell me that this is all just a dream. I'm still waiting. Waiting for a different sign. Waiting for someone to take me away. Get these thoughts off my mind. As I wait
think the depth causes it to fail. There might be too much it can't accept. So that's a depth of 1. So what I'm doing in here is I'm actually trying to manually serialize and see if this works. It doesn't run. This is something now that's causing it to fail. I'm actually just tempted to see what happens if I serialize as XML. Like it can't hurt. I'm just kind of getting tired of trying to serialize as JSON. Let's just do an XML conversion. So what we need to do is comment all this out. Looking forward to sleeping tonight, bro. Yeah. Super tired lately. Custom object. Say no type information because I do not want type info. I'm going to start a debug. Let's just quickly pop this as a var. How do we get the inner HTML? That's what I was trying to figure out. Oh, what's the XML? I didn't think that worked. I'm just thinking, is this going to work? And I just don't think it is. $18,000. See what happens. I highly doubt this is going to properly work. I think this is going to fail as well. What we can do is we'll just select the first one. See what happens. I'm going to keep this one here just because I might want to play with that. I'm going to want to play with that and work out if there's some sort of limitation that I'm hitting. Like that. Okay, so I just change the title so it's a little bit easier to find. Let's see. System.xml.document. Oh, it's not going to work because I actually haven't. Breakpoint that. Let's take a look at it. So how can it be? I need to rerun this. while we're waiting for that, I'm seeing a custom object, it just as a string, and I actually will serialize that as a string. So it seems to be a problem there. This is a very tedious issue. So I've got last XML2. So, why is this playing doing this? Oh, okay. There he is. So you can see XML's in there. Same shenanigans. It looks like it's hitting some sort of limitation. That's what I'm getting. What would be very interesting. So we got update. Okay, so that failed. So I'm gonna do this. G'day Glenn, how you going, mate? So if we go that. Oh no, stop. New one first. I want to see if this actually can serialize it. Could be better, man. Could be better. So I'm just fussing with log analytics at the moment, and using Custo. And yeah, I'm having incomplete entries in there. So it's good. Like, don't get me wrong, Custo is really good, but for some reason, there's actually a couple of things I've learned about Custo recently. Is that it doesn't PowerShell, when it serializes JSON, usually it serializes, you can validate, you can chuck it in any validator and it would work. But with Custo, if you tried to pass that JSON, so if you use the method pass JSON and it just put the string in, it would fail. And it was to do with, you'd have to double escape any sort of date time attribute within the JSON, and you also needed to remove any sort of white spaces in between that as well. So if there was like an empty line with a white space, that would need to be cleaned up as well. So yeah, so what I'm trying to understand is, why is there some sort of limitation that is being affected here with regards to the XML, also with JSON. So I'm just switched to XML just to kind of get a bit of an idea. You can see this is a custom object. So this is a full custom object. So actually, okay, so if I go pass XML, let's see what happens. That works. Terribly though, absolutely terribly. But that works. Now, will it pass the last one? So I sent another one which was last XML, last two, and it's not working. So I don't think it's to do with... So what happens is, you can see here, the data's there, it's not being passed. So what I'm trying to understand is that, is this something that is an actual string limitation? So what we had was, so what we've got is our last XML. So if we go process, select last one, XML, depth 2, no type information. Then we get the dot length. So 18,000, which, okay. So let's change that to the first one. It's 4,000. Let's try and find one. So that's 4,000, that's 4,000. Let's 3 4s are 12. So we'll pass the first. I'm wondering if it's to do with an actual physical length. Anything longer than a specific amount, and it kind of just has a heart attack. So what we can do, let's quickly check that. So we know the last one's bad, like we know that for a fact. So if we have a look at process, we go select last one. I'm just going to quickly convert to JSON. Okay, there's a lot of Shazam. There's a lot of stuff in here. So let's cut it down. Let's see what we got here anyway. I'm like, let's just get rid of that. Let's actually cut down the length and see if that fixes it. So okay, it's 8,000. That should be fine, because I think it could have three. We could have 3 consecutive 4,000 length objects, so that should be fine. So I am going to put old mate back. I'm going to change you back. So depth of 2. We don't compress either, because if we for some reason Custo doesn't like compressed JSON. It just can't pass it. So it's another little gotcha with pass JSON. So you have to not use compress within convert to JSON. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Bring old mateys back in to play. So we're going to stop. What do we unexpected. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just want to have a quick squiz at it. $15,000. How can it be 15,000? What the? Oh my gosh. Okay, that looks good. Alright, let's send it. If we know there's a character limitation, the next stop would then be checking the module that I'm using and what kind of limitations are in place for that. And then following that would be then to actually, I've already got a support ticket with Microsoft, so I'm just kind of hitting it with both sides and seeing if there's something weird going on there. So while we're waiting for that to run through, let's have a quick squiz at program files x86, Windows PowerShell. PowerShell, isn't it? That is installed. PowerShell. Let's have a look in .NET Peak. Just want to quickly check, is this open source before I .NET Peak it? I feel like I might need to upgrade this. Does it have any copyright? I don't see anything there, so I'm kind of like, if it's not there, then it's .NET Peakable. Where is it? Did he move it? Here it is. I don't think there is any sort of... No, okay, perfect. So, let's go take a look. Copy this path. Oh, no, previous versions. I'll just have the directory. The feelings that I found in this whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Some ideas, just have a quick squeeze in here. Have to suffer through the thinking. Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. He's got tests. peak best thing ever. Max exception count, yeah, that's fine. Alright, while waiting on that, let's have a quick squiz, see if there's anything of interest here. So what we're looking for is, we're going to pass. I like how it's got pass IPv4, that's cool. What we're looking for is last one. What was that? Last one XML3, even though it's not XML3. Bingo. So this is interesting. That's basically a cut down version of it, and it still failed. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut it down even more. This is where it starts getting weird, and I'm starting to wonder: is it something to do with? We're gonna reduce it to 4,000 characters, because we know that's within the range. And if it's something still happening, we then know it's not to do with the characters itself. It's to do with the serialization and how potentially Custo is actually interpreting it, which probably will put the issue with Custo, and maybe I need to raise a support ticket with Microsoft. But at the same time, though, it could be to do with the module and how it's passing that. At the end of the day, though, it's just static text, so I don't see any issue with that. It's just serialized JSON. So unless I just do a really big dirty and convert it to base64, but there's obviously character limitations with that. So we know this doesn't work. So what we're going to do, let's copy that. We're going to, I'm just going to break that. Yep, clear that. So we can see, fantastic. So we can see this is what so we've got a standard object. So what we're going to exclude, let's have a look what's inside that. Okay, this is a format list. Okay, so let's get rid of threads. Let's have a quick look and see. I'm just trying to find something that's really big. Okay, here we go. What's this? What's this? What's this? Okay, let's get rid of threads. Let's do that. Let's get rid of threads. Okay, so we're going to go exclude property module threads. So we're shrinking this. You know what? Let's just go like. Well, this is going to be interesting because we can shrink threads like that. But I'm intrigued into seeing what would happen. I'm just going to. Sorry. So class looks like property module threads. Just want to see if it's excluded. You know, there's one thing I forgot to do. We can do that after it anyway. Let's just send it. We can go. That's not what I wanted. My idea is to actually suss out its limits. Okay, that is well within the the bounds. So if that fails, I don't think it's a character issue. I think it's to do with how it's being handled. Which means then we can actually slowly start to shrink this object and finding the offending, if it's an offending character or if something is in it that's weird, we can then find it. Worst comes to worst, we can then cater for it, but then we can then raise a support ticket. But the goal is obviously is literally just trial and error right now. I'm kind of trying to suss out how to get this out. So our next one that we fired was last one. What was it? It was last one, JSON 4. As you can see, that's serialized. That's serialized quite well. So I think it's around about a 4,000 limit, which is weird. So this is interesting now because that's a 3.5. So what I'm thinking, how can I?
Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach.
To make sure that it's nothing weird, we're going to compress. We're going to say select length. That's 128,000. Fantastic. We need depth of 1. Okay, so we're gonna do threads. Okay, we're gonna run threads because threads was an offending property. So if it still breaks, we're within the range, which means then it's a character issue. So well, actually, no, we're gonna stay with the depth of 1. This means I'm gonna need to tweak old mate here.
Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything.
So now we're just passing the threads. If this serializes, it's a character limit. We should just see some thread data. Okay, perfect. So while waiting for that, back to JetBrains, and we can keep peeking. Okay. Trying to find the where is it? Oh, nice, Glenn. Nice. And congratulate, mate, on the ND. Sorry, on the DevOps days, mate. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I'll be keen to catch up, mate. I fly down on the Tuesday night, so yeah, I'll be keen to catch up. Oh, so it's actually Tuesday afternoon, so we can catch up for drinks that night if you're keen. Yeah. All right, see what this has done. So we've said, what's our latest one is last one, JSON 5. We'll DM you on Twitter. Yep, no worries, man. No worries. Is there a 5 here yet? There is not a 5. Still waiting for it to show up. Yeah. This is causing me so much grief. I can't see anything that looks like an actual tracing platform. Like what we got in here? The definition. Get applications.
Another day to live through.
Oh, this is frustrating. Okay. So the last one, JSON 4. No, we're actually JSON 5. Oh, there it is. So this is the last one, JSON 5. Length was... last one was... That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Ah, it's serialized. It's deserialized. Okay, that's completely fine. Oh, what's this terrible music? Okay, we'll keep going. So that's actually worked. So you can see that's worked. Okay, so I think there is a character limit to what you can serialize. So we need to find this limit. So let's start playing around with it. I'm just trying to think how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to need to create a new file. I think it's time to create a custom object. Alright, it's time to write some custom JSON. I'm just trying. Trying to think what the fastest way to make an object would be. Is probably use some PowerShell. So all we need to do is create an object. So we're going to go custom object. Let's just call it. Let's just make an array. And we're going to go from 0 to 5,000 plus equals plus equals, and we're going to go I think that's a fair enough length. It's 23,000 characters. This is going to be our test case. So what we're going to do so we're going to do that. It's gonna put some code in here. Object. Like so. So we got 23,000 in there. Then we're gonna go object. Okay, so what we're going to do now. Any reason why you wouldn't go? I have no idea, mate. Like, I literally am like, I'm literally going from character limits. So I think what's happening is there's a character limit to what a single request can be when you're making a request into application insights. And I think what's happening is, even though I'm passing an object, I think what's happening is it's basically hitting that character limit, and that character limit's causing issues. So whether application insights is capable of, just going to increase the exposure, whether application insights actually capable of dealing with that through like batching or something like that, that would be then applicable, and then I would need to rewrite my entire commandlet to actually use an API rather than this module, or whether I rewrite part of this module. So I think what's happening here is that it is a hard limit, but I think it's a hard limit on the request. But the thing is though, if you think about it, it's not like, I remember reading that it can take 30 kilobytes of data. So that's like a lot of data. That is a lot of data. So I think this is on this limitation's actually on the HTTP request, the post request that it's actually sending. But like to be 100% sure, I'm actually just sending a custom object, and I'm going to narrow it down until I find the exact number, and then we're going to kind of go from there and see what happens if I can manually create I know that there's custom PowerShell out there that allows you to log a custom event manually, and I'm going to basically rewrite the core components and then try it with that. And see if that's different, because I do think that there might be some sort of limitation there. And if there is, that's fine, and then I'll just basically have to work out a way to rewrite the code so that it caters for that limitation. So if you pass an object in and it's trying to serialize anything more than this amount, it'll then go, okay, it'll throw a warning, or actually no, it'll throw an error, it'll throw a terminating error unless you say force it, and then what it'll do is it'll actually strip objects from it'll write a routine in there, so it'll strip large objects to bring the count down till a point where it's able to send the request. Not ideal, especially when you're trying to serialize in an object, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, you kind of have to take your wins and your losses. So and I think the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to basically look at the depth. So if it I'll write it so that it'll convert it to JSON, then convert it back, and then look at items that are so deep, and then basically start cutting those properties out and just nulling them. So don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see how we go. So we can head back and now start. So we just got a custom object. Literally, like so. So this should be just a big old blat of JSON. Yep. You can't get any more basicer than that. That's like very static JSON. It's just a straight out array. So it'll be very interesting to see how it limits it. While waiting on that, I'm actually going to try and find. I've actually documented it in here in my actual book. So, where did I put it? Here it is. Yeah, no worries, mate. Take care. Have a good weekend. That didn't work. Stopped it. So it stopped at 10:32. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna serialize. And 31.
Defeated by the dreams and the memories we've made. To see you crashing out the
So this should be 10:31. Yep. How much is that? We can actually find that out at the end. Yep. So That's submitted it. We can go object. Yep. Convert to JSON. Depth 1. Once we've done that, we can go compress, select length. So that's 4,000. I wonder if it is 4,096. Oh, it wouldn't be. Well, if this works, we know our limit is 4,000, roughly. Which is interesting. It's very interesting. So, let's have a look.
Never wanna hold you back. I wanna give you every chance to make it, to make it. I'm afraid if our love collides, you'll leave me alone tonight. 'Cause I'm changing and I'm breaking. Is this over? I'm scared to ask these questions 'cause I know that you'll reject
It
my
comes
love.
back. Okay. So this is custom test 2. Did it work? And I think it did. Look. Oh. Pay dirt. That worked. There's the character limit. Alright, let's hit log analytics. Probably is 4096 because of all the other bits and pieces I've padded onto it.
I never wanna hold you back. I wanna give you every chance, and I'll stand against all enemies, your enemies. I'm afraid if our love collides,
That's fetching.
be alone tonight. 'Cause I'm changing and I'm breaking, but I'll still be your superhero. I'll be your superhero.
This is really frustrating. It's one of the most frustrating things that had happen. It works and then it just shouldn't have these limitations. Measure lot analytics, character limit. Some data. This is the problem. Maximum of 30 megabytes per post on the Azure Monitor Data Collector API. Now, this is logging. What's applications?
Can't bear the things I've had to face. Got you crying on your knees in pain. Oh, some things never change, never change. Oh, you'll break your back to make me feel again.
Yeah, so this is the same one. Turn that like that.
Lose your mind from endless pain. Some things never change, never change. Oh, redemption never came. I stopped asking for forgiveness, 'cause you should know only
Alternatively, you can change the variables.
fear to go, but you keep trying to get too close. Save myself by turning into stone. So save your judgment, 'cause you just don't know. But some things never change, never change. Oh, they say I should feel guilty and change my ways, leaving crumpled bodies.
Okay, I think what this is leaning towards is maybe a limitation somewhere. I don't think it's to do with the data collector. Log event. Right. Okay, we are going to have a bit of a play with this. Once it's created, navigate to property tabs and copy the instrumentation key. Now open up PowerShell editor and load the application assembly into it.
Looks like we've come to the end of the road.
We'll add it to console application references, right click.
I'd rather sleep until the storm is gone. She'd rather be shooting at me now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
This is a very lengthy download. So while we're waiting on that, let's just keep reading. So your assembly path, so we add the type, then we get a new object, then we put our instrumentation key. Now the telemetry is aware of the application inside. So we use the log, event name, hello event, client track event. Yep, okay, so it's the exact same way that it's logging in oldmate. You can use track trace method to new object, telemetry exception.
I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
I think I might need to rewrite it, and then basically to actually cater for the other streams. So I'm gonna probably need to do. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, well let's we'll just use it as a stock standard for the time being, and then we'll go that way. If that doesn't play ball, which I suspect it won't, we will then start to rewrite it. And that's going to be a pain, but I think it's going to be worth it because we can actually write it to be much more robust. So errors, they're going in through, yeah, they're going to be using custom methods. So at the end of the day, it's going to be better. If this is going to play ball. I'm just going to have a quick look at yours. Okay. So I'm thinking, yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to use the actual NuGet package, the application insights package itself, and I'm going to log through it. I don't think it's too like application insights logs to Azure Monitor, so that like Azure Application Insights is just a reporting engine that sits on top of Log Analytics. So I'm suspecting that what's going to happen is when in essence, I think the way that it does the way that it does its logging is different, but at the same time though, I don't think there's a 4K limit. I'm not convinced. I think it might be something to do with the module that I'm using. So, this is taking its sweet time. It might not run on core, which is another concern I'm worried about. Or it could be the fact that I actually need to that it's why is it not wanting to install? It could be that it's PS5, so it's .NET, it's not .NET Core. Or it could be my firewall. Oh, no such found. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Since application insights managed, yep. Alright, let's go find where this assembly is. And go on the journey of looking for assemblies. NuGet package, application insights, version 2.10. Hey you, I want this. Oh, that's package manager. The problem is I don't want to have to like I'm just thinking about all the issues I'm going to have just to make this log work. It's just going to drive me absolutely bonkers because the problem is that then I have to put all these extra DLLs in it and just I'm actually getting very tempted just to rewrite this as a module. Putting a 4K limit on it for the time being so that the code can kind of function, and then basically using it as a motivation to actually push me to write a PowerShell module. That's what I'm thinking, because yeah, I'm kind of like, I just don't want to have to, like, I'd rather write it in a module, encapsulate the DLLs, everything is sweet, good to go. I can add the SMS trace logging stuff, add extra functionality so that basically it's even more seamless, and yeah, so it makes it much easier to use. But yeah, it's kind of grating me right at the moment. I'm just going to use this .NET Core. And this is the problem, is how it's going to deal with .NET Core, .NET 4.6. If they're I think they should be the same libraries, but we'll see. Just check on D10. Just need someone to go grab these DLLs and have a look at them. But I'm thinking I might just put a 4,000 character limit on it. It'll throw on a character limit. And it'll strip. Actually, no, I'm going to try and probably write it to strip. Let's try now.
Don't tell me why. I know you won't save my life. Save my life. Baby, keep on your making the waves. You and I will never be safe. Be safe.
Let's just do a quick build.
Will you pick me up the ground? If the walls go down, will you save me or burn me down?
What's my DLL? For core. Sorry, I'm just kind of. Okay, we'll go set with not the get packages.
I was ready to surrender my heart to you, only you. These lights all around me keep blinding my eyes
Okay,
from you.
here's a 4.6.
Don't tell me why. I know you won't save my life.
Let's have a look at this.
Baby, keep on your making the waves. You and I will never be safe. Be safe. If the walls come down, will you pick me
Why not?
up the
Why is she going to load for me?
ground? If the walls
It's 4.6. Let's just no, it's .NET Standard 2.
save me or burn me down.
Type, paste. That works. Alright, this is what we're going to do. For the rest of for today, we need to actually update this code so that it can only support smaller objects, and it will strip out anything too big. So you can't just pass a massive object into it. We'll get it to strip out, because I need this to work for at least reporting. Once I've done that, then I'm gonna have to start thinking about, I'm gonna rewrite it as a I'm gonna rewrite this as a module. I've been harping and humming about this for ages, and I think this is just enough motivation for me to do so. And this will basically log in an SMS trace format, and it'll log to application insights, and maybe I can even get it to log analytics as well through that. So, and then we'll release it. So that's going to probably be my new project, because yeah, and I've been procrastinating on it, but I think it's just push comes to shove. So the focus right now for me is to actually fix this by restricting its limits. So what we're going to do is think of a way how we're going to do this. I need to be able to dynamically remove objects from a PowerShell. What if there's a way to measure an object? That's what I'm thinking. You can measure an object. So my idea is, this is like literally pushing the limits of PowerShell. This is definitely not recommended. So just gonna let's restart debugging. Okay. So here's our nice object. So first things first, let's get the length. Okay, that's the string length there. So just kind of working on a bit of code here. So we've got that, replace the string length, and then we need to work out how to trim an object. How about what I'm thinking is something like this. So I'm going to need to iterate and get all the members. Like so. Let's just use custom object for the time being. Are we still in debug? Yes, we are. So if we go custom object, yes, okay. It's an array. This is gonna break already. It's not gonna play ball if it's an array. How can I write? It's mainly for custom objects, so I'm kind of thinking. My idea is to be able to dynamically shrink this object. So my idea is to get the members. So if we've got, let's just stop for example, if we go process, so select last one, get member.
If the kingdom is overthrown, meet me at the cornerstone. I know that I can't be without you. This bond is solid gold. We're a diamond and an emerald. It took me forever.
This is gonna be a hard one.
'Cause when it's all over,
So I could check each.
we'll be there to guide you in every way. Now we
My idea is to check up, to trim the bottom.
the summer's calling.
So my idea here is to basically go into each property and start removing, each sub-object, or each object within there, the object, and start removing properties. That's the plan anyway. Really comes down to how much effort's worth spending doing this. That's what I'm wondering. Because at the end of the day though, it's going to take me at work a couple of minutes to trim that code, and then I can restart and rewrite.
We wait for the smoke to clear,
So
and we
I'm
watch
kind of
our
like
dreams appear. I know
thinking
that
about
we can
terms
rise
of time frames.
together. This vision that we share is ours.
I'll give it a go anyway. Like, we can always give it a go in the stream anyway and see what we can do. It's always interesting trying to do something interesting in PowerShell. So,
'Cause when it's all over,
selecting the last one, get the member. Well, let's first things first. Let's just get that as last process, so we can simplify it. So,
the summer's calling.
this is going to be an interesting one. So we're going to need a counter. That's going to keep track of our character count. We're going to say, we're going to give ourselves a 4,000 limit. We're just going to get count limit. So it's 4,000 characters. That's all we can put in. So now we need to look at the last process, which is what we have in memory. We're going to go get member. Member type. Just thinking, should I create an object or collection and then start building it? Or do a select exclude? Alright, so I'm thinking, this is actually very interesting now. So the first thing we need to do, I'm just kind of like, test for character limit.
So I've come to
Then we're going to need to map
conclusion.
out the highest.
So I'll end up dying slowly, rotting away.
okay, I can start to see this coming. So my idea is we basically test for the character limit. If the character limit exceeds it, then we can basically go through each of them, map out the highest character, cut it from the loop, retry, test again, and then rinse and repeat until it goes below that. So it's only removing the highest from the bottom. So if it gets to, let's say, 4001, the next highest one is gone. So that's what I'm thinking. The problem is that like it's going to be removing top level properties, but to be honest, I don't really have a problem with that. So what I'm thinking, this needs to be recursive. So while we're gonna need a JSON event, a JSON object equals depth is 2, it's always going to stay 2. Compressing it. I think this is not going to work for if you. The problem is this is not going, like, this is designed to serialize an object. So if you've got a collection, you're stuffed. Because basically what will happen is it'll serialize the collection. And it'll just remove the entire collection. So I could write logic into it to basically start cutting from the bottom of the collection, but this is more for you've got an object, you want to log that object out. So this definitely not going to production. This is just something I just wanted to kind of have a play with now. This is uncharted territory. So we're converting to JSON, we've compressed it. So basically we now have a compressed JSON object. So now we're going to say, while JSON object, like JSON, I'm compressing it because compressing it allows me to make sure that we're not having any sort of funny business. So we can go, while JSON object dot length is less equal is while it's looping is, just thinking, it's going to be greater than counter limit. So once that's done that, so we basically now entered our loop. We need to go fetch the members. So we need to fetch the members of that object. So if we go there's actually something we're going to need to do is, I don't really want to be going back and forth converting, so I'm going to do is I'm going to have two objects side by side, and then one of them is just the, we're going to be working with the parent object. Let's just call this, we're just going to call this custom working object. Let's just call it temp object. I'm just kind of spitballing here. So we keep them side by side. So we're working with a temp object, and then we convert from that. So while fetch the members from that object, so we can go custom temp object, get members, get member, member type, property, no property. And now just kind of I'm just going to do a quick bar there for the time being, so I can just think about this for a sec. So now we've got our properties. We need to iterate for each object, iterate through each of our properties, We need to produce a report. Wondering whether we can produce a report with select objects. Select objects, property, and then we're going to go property name, and then we're going to do a select expression. We're going to say object length. And we're going to go expression. Go. Yeah, look at this. This is PowerShell right here. This is pretty cool. Then we're gonna go dot we're gonna do. Can we do that? Will that work? No, that won't work. We need to do like that. So it's getting the property name, and then we're going to pipe it to convert this is going to be a pain. Is the depth. This has to be down here, and there has to be a copy of that. Because what will happen is we'll get depths out of whack. It's not a one-to-one. So if you've got a depth 2, you need to have a depth 1. And I don't think that's even legit, like that's even correct then. So if we basically if we wrap the object like this, we're actually locking in, I want to say locking in, but we're ensuring that the depth is correct. So I'm just going to convert it to JSON here, and then we're going to go convert to JSON, compress. Don't need the depth because we might need to specify a depth of 1 just to be 100% sure. And then we're going to go select length and select object, expand property, length, like that. So that should give us a list of each of the objects with the highest value. Which then means I can then do a sort. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud here. We can then do a sort object. And we're going to sort on
and imagine a utopia. Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations.
Property, and we're going to sort on property is object length. So we're going to get, and then we're going to say This is PowerShell right now, where we are we're literally writing a one-liner. So insert the loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to use last process as an example. So we don't have to do any sort of funkiness here. so let's just do that. So we should see a nice. No. Damn it. We need to then go process. Like so. Should see old mate as a JSON object. Yeah, there we go. Big JSON object. Very, very big JSON object. I'm actually going to get rid of this. I'm going to run this on its own first. So I'm just going to run that. Parameter name, system string. So that's a serialized, the deserialized JSON object. So now we're just going to quickly run through this, make sure that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Select object, property. I'm just going to quickly run this. I think it's .name. Why is that not working? It's PS custom object. Nope. Oh. Okay. So what I'm going to quickly do here is I'm just going to simplify my line here so we're not kind of destroying anything. But I do want to see my select expression. Yep. Okay, so we're just gonna go dot name. Just enclosing. Yep, that's fine. No one there, two there. Does that give me what I want? Alrighty. Okay, so that works. What was that? Okay. Let's see if we can just see if this will work. Yes! Yes! How good is that? How good is that? Okay, that's fantastic. So, what we can do now, we've got, using a select expressions, we can now prune the top. Select it. We're just going to call this highest. We'll call this highest object length. Manifest over. So now we're going to prune it. So what we're going to do here, we go custom temp object dot what's the method to remove it? No, I can't remember the method. What's it? Yes, custom object remove property. So now I can use, okay, yeah, PS object properties dot remove. Just steal that good old Stack Overflow. So we can then go PS object dot properties dot remove, and then we do this. We go that dot name prune, and that prunes it. Which then we need to prune from object, and then we need to reserialize it. So just go to custom temp object, serialize object, depth to compress. That should be it. That should be what we need to write to dynamically prune the highest objects from a the highest objects from an object. The child objects from an object, and then basically prune it out. So if we run this, it's thinking. It's thinking, and we got a massive error. Okay, cannot process the name because it's not it's having a fit. Okay, what's the last JSON object? Nothing. It pruned everything. It wasn't good enough. I'm just gonna, so while object length is 2 is greater than, there's no counter limit, that's why. I don't even need that, we just need that. Stuff that up. Object. This is an interesting exercise actually. This should have a nice JSON object that the length should be that is cool. That is cool. Just pruned it. Pruned it. Oh, I love it. And what we can do is we can actually put a right warning in here. That's a win. That is an absolute win. Even if we're not going to use it, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's try something. We're gonna chuck it in to see what it does. Like, I don't know if it fixes it. If it fixes it, fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we should just be able to pass any object, and it should be able to. Well, and I'm talking object, not an array, because this is not going to be able to support an array. But we should be able to prune it. That's pretty cool. That is a really good. That's a really good example of using select expressions. So basically, I'm getting the object length. So what we can do, grab old mate here.
I've been keeping myself so busy, pushing out the misery, trying to find a piece in me.
Well, JSON object. So what we need here is custom object.length. Custom object.length. We need a work. So I'm going to trim it, and then I'm going to do all the nice white spacing out of it, so it's kind of make it nicer. So custom object. Convert from JSON. So like so. Custom object. We need to do this. It's greater than that. Custom temp object. Yep. Give me that. Prune it. Remove it, reset it. So that'll prune it, and then it'll clean it up. So this, we can just say, here we can say, prune. This does top level, it's not going, it's basically just going wide out. So I'll rewrite it, you gotta rewrite to be a bit smarter, but for the time being this will work. So we can then clean up the JSON to present it to clean up the JSON. For Custo, like so. So cleaning up that, done that. Executing it. I'll run a quick set of tests. Test pass, which is good. So we should be able to run this now. I'm actually going to be very intrigued to see what actually happens. So selecting the last object, custom hash table, error details, type information, we need the resource name, I'm just going to call this test, final, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, I just want to check its length. That's not working. Rerun it. I'll just put a breakpoint on this. The reason why it's not working is because it needs some length. Run tests. Rerun tests. Oh well. Yep. It's entered it. Perfect. Okay, let's turn on our warning error preference to continue. Like so, if we rerun this, we should see some prunes. Yep, we're pruning. I'm surprised it pruned with modules, but it didn't prune anything else after that. Rerun it. It's 4,000 and... Okay, so yeah, it would have pruned it fine. See how we go, and we'll see what happens. So we have to wait for a little bit for this to finish, and then from that, yeah, we'll call it a night. I'm actually pretty hungry, pretty tired. That was a really cool piece of PowerShell though. Actually, it was really kind of like trying to nut out how would like the logic to be able to actually prune dynamically. It's actually really quite cool. Is there anything? Come on, it usually takes like 8 minutes to suck it in, so I'm gonna start closing some bits and pieces down. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It means that there's a little bit more to it. I think it's going to work because it's under 4,000. And 4,000 was the limit. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. Let's have a quick squiz. I think we'll be fine. It's just that I don't know, like I feel like this is going to be something that's going to play ball, like it's going to play silly games with me. So yeah, we'll see how we go. We will see how we go. Will it work? Yes! Good win! Good win. It's 4,000 character limit. Dynamically pruned it. And it did it. Not the best, but at least it'll help me next week anyway, but then it's obviously going to serve as a bit of a kick in the balls to actually focus and actually write this new module for you guys so we can actually get something a little bit more full featured. I've been procrastinating so much on it, but that's a really good win. You can see that it's serialized, it's perfectly fine. The thread should still be there. The custom, we should see threads, yep. So it's perfectly fine as long as it's under that limit. I think I think that's a really good win. I think it's a really good win for tonight. And there's a nice little cool little piece of snippet code there where you can actually just gonna stop debugging. Where you can actually go and grab the it'll dynamically prune your properties. So if you've got it too long, it'll cut that off the top, give you a bit of a message, and keep cracking on. So that's actually really quite cool. Yeah, so just on me. So guys, I think that's pretty much going to be it for today. I've had a really good time. Actually, really, even though it sucks terribly right now, that there is a limitation. At the same time, though, I do think that there is it's a really good win. So thanks guys for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, yeah, do what you need to do. I'm not going to mention it. I've done it. I've said this too many times. Yeah, and yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, bye for now.